Benjamin Netanyahu was born in 1949 in Tel Aviv, just 2 years after the establishment of Israel. He was the second of 3 children in his family. His mother was from Ottoman lands and his father lived in Warsaw. Netanyahu's paternal grandfather was a rabbi and a Zionist Jew. Netanyahu spent the early years of his life in Jerusalem, but between 1956, 1958 and 1963, 1967 he lived in America with his family. He completed his high school education in America. In 1967 he returned to Israel and was accepted as a member of the Israeli Army's Special Patrol Unit. The name of this unit is Sayeret Matkal, the highest military authority in Israel. He was temporarily exempted from serving in the army in 1972. It means that whenever the army needs it, it should still be in the service of Israel. Netanyahu went to America once again to study. A year later, he was called up from the army, so he returned to Israel to participate in the Yom Kippur War. Netanyahu was married 3 times. Netanyahu's first marriage was to Miriam Weizman. Weizman lived near the apartment of Benjamin Netanyahu's brother Yonatan in Jerusalem. When Netanyahu's service ended, Weizman completed both his military service and a degree in chemistry from the University of Jerusalem. In 1972, they both went to America to study. He enrolled at Brandeis University, while Netanyahu at MIT studied. They got married very soon after traveling to America. The couple gave birth to a daughter named Noah, born on April 29, 1978. Netanyahu changed his name to Ben Nidai in America. He completed his bachelor's degree in architecture and his master's degree in management, and when he was studying political science and doctorate, he left this field unfinished due to the death of his brother. At MIT, Netanyahu completed his master's degree, which usually takes 4 years, in 2.5 years while attending Harvard University. One of his teachers in MIT said that he did great. He was very smart, organized, powerful. He knew what he wanted to do and how to do it. In 1976, Netanyahu was chosen as an economic consultant for a company in Boston. At the same time, he participated in meetings related to Israel and showed his political inclinations more or less. In 1978, while Weizman was pregnant, Netanyahu met and began a relationship with a non-Jewish English student named Fleur Keats in the university library. His first marriage ended in divorce after a short time, because his first wife discovered this relationship. In 1981, Netanyahu married Keats and she became a Jew. In 1978, Netanyahu returned to Israel after working for 2 years in Israel's anti-terrorist organizations. Between 1980 and 1982, he was the executive director of RIM Industries in Israel. These 2 years were an important turning point in Netanyahu's life because he was able to interact with political figures. Israel to communicate, like Moshe Irina, Israel's foreign minister. After his relations with Irina became stronger, the foreign minister made him the deputy ambassador of Israel to America. In 1982, Israel went to war with Lebanon and Netanyahu was called to Israel by the army. He told the army to allow him not to return to Israel and to defend the country as a spokesman for Israel in the embassy. Later, some high-ranking Israeli officials criticized Netanyahu's work and said that he is a coward. Netanyahu's second wife Keats filed for divorce in 1988. Between 1984 and 1988, Netanyahu was Israel's representative in the United Nations. The interesting thing that happened in these years was that Netanyahu became friends with Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father. In 1988, before the legislative elections, Netanyahu returned to Israel and joined the Likud party. Because of his political activities, he won the 5th rank in the party's internal elections. After this incident, because of his previous acquaintance with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Irene, he was able to become the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. His third wife, Sarah Ben-Artzi, was a flight attendant who worked on an EL flight from New York to Israel. He was completing his master's degree in psychology. This couple got married in 1991. They have two sons, Yart, born on June 26, 1991, who was a former soldier in the Israeli Army's press unit, and Avner, born on October 10, 1994, who is a national hero of the Bible. In 1992, the Likud party was defeated in the legislative elections, so the members decided to appoint a new person as the head of the party. In 1993, Netanyahu announced his readiness to become the head of the party, and after the voting, he became the head of the Likud party. After the leadership of the party, everyone knew that Netanyahu is probably the party's main candidate to win the election. In 1996, for the first time, Israelis were supposed to directly elect their own prime minister. After voting, Netanyahu could become the first Israeli prime minister who was born in Israel. In addition, he became the youngest prime minister of Israel since the establishment of this country. From the day Netanyahu became prime minister, he tried to negotiate peace with Hamas and Fatah. He believed that before an important resolution is passed, we should give the Palestinians a point so that they accept the opinion of the Israelis on important issues. Netanyahu said that Israel should not try to make an agreement all at once, instead it should negotiate with Palestine gradually. Netanyahu met Palestinian President Yasser Arafat for the first time this year. These meetings continued until the fall of 1996. The result of the negotiations was more Israeli influence in the Palestinian territories. For example, Israeli forces are stationed in Hebron again. In 1997, Netanyahu ordered the assassination of the leader of Hamas. Mossad forces in Jordan injected poison into the ears of Khaled Meshal in a street. Shortly after this incident, the Jordanian police arrested two people. King Hussein, the king of Jordan at the time, was very angry with Israel and told Israel to immediately deliver the antidote to Jordan and threatened to cancel the peace negotiations forever if he did not do so. Netanyahu did not agree with this. But with the pressure of the American president, he had to. At the same time, the United States ordered the release of 61 Jordanian prisoners in order to continue the peace talks. Among these prisoners, Ahmed Yassin, the founder of the Hamas group, was included. Although Netanyahu was not successful in terms of foreign policy during his first term as prime minister, Israel grew in terms of economic indicators. He was against the leftist group of Israel, and because of the concessions he gave to Hamas, he lost the support of the leftist group as well. In 1997, the police recommended that Netanyahu be tried for corruption. He was accused of colluding with the Attorney General to reduce the charges against his own government officials. In 1999, Netanyahu faced another scandal when Israeli police said he had committed bribery for $100,000. After these events, he lost his support and popularity among the people of Israel. In 1999, Netanyahu participated in the prime ministerial elections, but she lost to Ehud Barak. She decided to stay away from politics for a while. In this year, she became the chief advisor of Israel's communication equipment. This is the end of the first part. You can watch the second part from YouTube.